Periscope 9 days ago. My account doesn't look like it has been deleted. I just don't get it. Never had a problem with this. This is bizarre. Very, very bizarre. Yeah. Anyway, I do not know what's going on. It shows 178 broadcasts I've had. Whoops. I don't know. Anyway, okay, guys, listen. It looks like for some reason we are not broadcasting on Periscope, and we don't know why. Bizarre, because I was, and I know I'm on D Live too. So. 谢谢。
还有一个，等一下。
See, hey, Betty. I don't know why. That's the most bizarre thing. Well, for years I didn't actually need Periscope or do anything about it, but I've been on Periscope recently a lot. I was on Periscope 10 days ago. Remember I did this this broadcast about the claw machines, right, walking around. And here it is. That was 9 days ago, and today it's not working. I could, if I had a way to hold the phone, I could do it. Yeah, maybe. If I had a way to hold this phone at the same time, I could do a separate one, but that just wouldn't make any sense. We used to do that in the old days, looking back and forth between the devices. Let me turn my light back on because I need. There you go. This is really, really strange. Release to refresh. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has had any problems. So yeah, I see everybody on my list. All right, I'm not going to spend more time on this. This is just, forget it. It's not working, and I don't know why. And later on, I will get the streaming report from Restream.io. But I'm connected, and I did in fact successfully change the I did successfully change the title, which means the API call is working. Okay, now let me do this. Now this is the dish. This is a Thai dish. This is what we call Shangla Fan. Basically, it's a rice base, but this is a basil and pork that I get in the other restaurants, and it is a slightly different version. And over here is flying fish roe sausage, and of course they always have fresh sliced garlic with it, because whenever you get sausage here you get fresh sliced garlic. But you see the eggs? That's flying fish eggs in the sausage. And I got one more dish coming, and when I get that dish I'll show that to you. Those are Vietnam spring rolls. So, all right, they didn't bring me any chopsticks. They do this all the time. Every place I go in the neighborhood, right? If I get, they bring me the food, and they don't bring me chopsticks. And I have to remind them, what's going on? I got like an alfalfa thing going on here. Yeah. So, I do have a spoon. I can eat the sausage with a spoon, I guess, and put some of the garlic in it, but I like to pick that up with a chopstick. So this is the garlic with the flying fish roe. So Betty, how are you doing? Appreciate you joining. Gonna be kind of slim pickings, but I will tell you this. In my opinion, the platform should not affect the show. Okay? Shouldn't affect the show. I'm actually doing very well, thank you. Things are going along really, really well. Phoenix is starting first grade, and she has a 2-week kind of a pre-first grade thing. Next week is the second week, and then after she finishes that, she's got 2 more weeks off. My wife's doing well. Things are good. Excellent. I was enjoying those scopes that you were doing out in the Southwest, but I unfortunately wasn't able to join them live. One of the issues with living on the other side of the world. But glad you guys could join me for dinner. I'm curious if anyone is viewing on D Live, because I am still, as you can see, over here, I still am broadcasting on D Live. Now, one of the things I want to ask you guys is, here in Asia, I assume you can get anything in the States now, but 20 years ago, there are a lot of things in Asia that I would come to get, and you couldn't get them in the States. I would bring back socks with toes, toe socks, and I would bring back all these really exotic full-colored pens like peacock blue and some beautiful colors. I went down to the bank and gave them all to the tellers, and they loved it. We have these neoprene bags, for our stainless steel cups. They got little quick disconnects. There's all kinds of these bags. Some of them, like I said, are neoprene, which is cool because it's like a wetsuit material. You can make this wet. And I understand. Well, that's what happens sometimes. You just do what you can do, right? And you let it run, and when it reconnects. But yeah. Or you can video and upload it later, at least to YouTube. But this is Yokozuna, it's Japanese. And if you wet this, then it acts as an evaporative cooler. Of course, this is an insulated cup, and it does keep stuff cold, because sometimes I'll have ice left over in my drink in the evening, and I'll get up in the morning and it's still there. What I always do is I always use this thing and twist it around and lock it so this thing doesn't come down and whack me in the nose, which I hate. Some of the newer cups lock when they're down. I really want to design one of these myself, but plans for next year. Next year we're going to have a craft beer, and we're going to do Taiwan Live TV man bags, some t-shirts, and maybe some food items. Now, that's a nice flavor. There's a fried egg inside there too. Over rice, certain foods in Asia are designed to be over rice, like curry. Like what you would do in Western cuisine. You might have a gravy over potatoes or something. And rice is just so good. Some kind of a salty sauce on it, meat sauce or vegetable sauce. Really nice. So, you got one more dish coming, and it is the deep fried spring rolls. In the meantime, I'm going to eat these with my fingers. A slice of garlic. Right, now here's what's going on. My studio work has been severely interfered with by my family schedule, which is the only thing that it's okay to interfere. While Phoenix is home, I spend as much time with her as I can, which is why I don't do any recording on the weekend. I only record during the week when she's at school. So she's going to be at school this week. And she gets up early, and she catches the bus at 10 minutes of 7, and she gets home at 10 minutes of 6. So it's a long day. But she's a really good kid, and she's handling it fine. And she likes the bus. And I don't have to spend all my time driving, because generally I'm spending between 3 and 5 hours a day in my car doing nothing. Well, I got work to do. But let me mention this. My studio is now set up. I'm open for business, for mixing. And if you want to contact me, you can contact me on Twitter. You can contact me on TaiwanLive.tv, or you can contact me at Phoenix Media Forge, info@phoenixmediaforge.com. This is a space age man-made material that's very durable. This bag is about a year old, and it's a little bit wrinkled, but that's, I mean, it's been everywhere. And you clean it with an alcohol wipe. It cleans up very, very well. It doesn't hold stains very much. I mean, there's a couple of little stains on it now. If I go home with an alcohol wipe, I can clean them off. I'm still working on the feature set. I want to have some features that nobody else has. Because one of the things that bothers me about this bag is gosh, this is driving me nuts. I'm gonna cut this off, man. I'm just gonna get a pair of scissors to cut this off or something. Because every time I look at it, it's like, ugh. Is that if I plug in the front compartment is where I keep my battery bank and my Wi-Fi box, and then the next compartment up here is where I keep my phone, and there's a little pocket that it fits in. And so I put it in with the USB cable up, but the cable has to go outside and around into here. So I'm going to have a grommeted hole in between the. Okay. Khoai sir, male khoai sir.
Mèo khoai sir lấy gì đũa?
Okay. I had to tell them. No chopsticks. They do this a lot. Well, I'm going to show you this. This is very nice. I want you to see this in a minute. So I'm going to have a grommeted, properly cut hole that will fit the USB that will fit the USB cable between. So you with right angle cables. Part of my plan is to offer a set of right angle cables, for whatever phone you've got, USB-C, micro, or Lightning. I want it to come with the bag if it's all possible, and so that way you can put your battery bank in, you can put your phone in, you can connect it through the hole and zip everything up, and it can't fall out. Because one thing I hate is I'm horrified when I look down and my bag's open. I forgot to shut it. The other thing is this bag has an integral detachable wallet, which is really nice. I love this color, this brown color. And so it's very secure, it's zippered and it's in a zippered container. But you can pop 2 snaps and take it out. But don't worry, we'll go over all these features. But all these things are made in Taiwan and they're very, very high quality. Now, for the Vietnam spring rolls, and these are they. Look at this. Yep, with basil leaves, sliced cucumber. Here they are. And here's the sauce. Huh? What's it? She's telling me my tripod leg is getting ready to stick into the thing, into the food. This is a fish sauce, and it has sliced daikon radish and carrots, and they're crinkle cut. So that's that. And then there's the shangla fan, which I've started to eat. And here's the flying fish roe. Now, this dish, the rice dish, is actually this one here, shangla fan. That's what that dish is. So the rice dish. So it's kind of a, it's almost a cliche, but there it is. So what they didn't do with these spring rolls, which they usually do, and I don't know if it reflects a policy change or if it's just that, they don't have it, but they usually give me a leafy vegetable to roll it in. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a leaf of the basil first, dip a roll in that. That's a great combination. Because course, everybody knows what basil is, and this is Thai basil. This is Asian basil. It's a little bit different. It's a lot more aromatic. There's a lot more nose to it. And then I dip these deep fried spring roll. Of course, deep fried does makes everything better. Dip into the salty, pungent fish sauce, and then, and then, a stack like this. Common with Asian foods. You take your chopsticks and make stacks of different things because we like big flavors and different flavors. And so having the flying fish roe, and the flying fish eggs are crunchy. They're really interesting. And this is excellently prepared sausage, then with the garlic, puts it over the top. That's right. Yep. I know I've been talking about this for a while. I do want to offer a premium product, not a ridiculously or overtly expensive, but a high-end product, because literally the first time I bought a man bag in Taiwan, I paid 100 NT, which is $3, and it lasted about a month. I want to produce something that you can confidently get multiple years out of. This garlic combination is great. People don't think about that here. Yeah, so you sit down and start smoking. All right. Good stuff. Oh, my light went out. Guess it doesn't last that long. Interesting. Now, let me tell you what this meal cost. This dish was 60 NT, which is $3 or $2 US. The sausage is 150, which is $5. And the spring rolls were 100, which is $3. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's $10. Not bad. Remember, 30 NT is roughly $1 US. And so about the liquor is 190. So just under $6, and the soda water is 50 cents each. So yeah, I love it here. High quality stuff. Many people that watch my broadcast, and other scopers, like John Sabot primarily scopes from Southeast Asian countries. People are shocked at how inexpensive food is when you get outside the Western Hemisphere. It's really true. Food value, particularly in Taiwan, but in Laos, in Thailand, it's astonishing how much food you can get for almost no money. I mean, it's incredible. Oh, my light's coming back on. See how long it lasts. Maybe it, I don't know. I don't know why it shut off. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put it on medium. There you go. Now, earlier I asked Win-Win if she wanted to join us. And she said she would. Now I'm a little... Oh yeah. Every time... Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Every time I go to a new place, like my wife and I went to Costco last week. Next to Costco is a huge, I mean, like it looks like a parking garage. It's a sports equipment like conglomerate. It's a huge supermarket for sports equipment. They got 3 or 4 tents set up outside. It wasn't there. Last time I went to Costco, wasn't there. In my neighborhood, there are so many new factories. Somebody just built a new solar energy factory. Now let me tell you guys something. You want to get into solar, you better get into it now. This is the place. This right here is the industrial park, and I did a search. Within a 10-kilometer radius, there are more than 50 solar companies doing solar batteries, solar generators, you know, solar power. Mike, how are you? Nice to have you with us. All right. If you're interested retailing those kinds of things in the United States or in any other country, contact me. I got the hookup. And the great part about it is one of the advantages that I get in Taiwan is because we have a Taiwanese company. We buy Taiwanese to Taiwanese. As soon as they see you, 30% gets jacked on. So yeah, that's what happened to me in the Philippines. I went to get some products quoted, and they were quoting me higher prices for products that I can get made down the street cheaper. It's bizarre. They saw the face. So yeah, the economy in Taiwan is very good. If there's a depression, we don't know it. Now, I know I'm going to trigger some people, but the income inequality is growing. But that's not evil. It's called economics. So the people who are making less need to figure out how to offer a commodity that people want. All right, and I got a big bunch of this basil. That doesn't surprise me. Well, patents are for any new concept or any innovation. So no, but these days, I mean, the patents that get filed are ridiculous. They wouldn't have been filed 50 years ago that way. But if I come up with an innovation that nobody's done before, sure, I can patent it. But the way the patent process works, you have to patent it in in a bunch of different countries. The United States patent system is so ridiculous that this is why it's hard for people to make startups and do business in the United States. One of the reasons I left. If you hire a patent attorney, you know, it's $100,000 to get something patented. So right out of the gate, you're in debt. You can't actually say that because it depends on what the innovation is. I mean, if you had an adventure shirt that became a life jacket on contact with water, that would be patentable, in my opinion. But if you do your own patent, it's a lot less money, but if it gets rejected, then you got to start over. So, yeah, it's a lot of things to consider about that. In the old days, I used to have free legal counsel, but I don't anymore. Those guys have all retired. But all the music business attorneys that I work with would do whatever I needed, you know, for nothing. Yes, there are. Now, remember the chiclet, so-called chiclet UFO? The military released a video where a warplane got a lock on the chiclet UFO. Remember that? Somebody found a patent for it. It's U.S. Navy. It's a UFO, but it's not ET. Amazing. And I read last week that significant progress has been made on a real warp drive system. The problem is the equation for energy is highly biased on the energy side, and the equation for the relationship between energy and matter, you know, E equals mc squared. Energy equals the mass of whatever it is times the speed of light squared. That's heavily biased on the energy side, which is why a small amount of nuclear material can produce a big bomb. But if you want to go the other way, and you want to produce matter, or want to produce a warp field, it takes an incredible amount of energy to do these things. So, if mankind exists long enough, they'll solve the problem, but somebody will just use it to rob a bank. Because people are inherently bad, I think. Well, yeah, if they work for companies, yeah. That's part of the agreement. I worked for a number of companies where the guys had, you know, the engineers had patents. And the company bears the cost of the patent process. And the company usually gets to license the patent either for free or for a very low royalty, you know, for the first couple of years, and then later on it changes, you know. So yeah, but it's always better if you can do it on your own and control it on your own. But, so when I was talking about human nature, that's why communism and socialism never works, because the ideals are high, but the reality is low. The ideal is that everybody works as hard as they can work, and they put in as much as they can, and they take what they only need. This is ridiculous. People work as little as they can. They put in as the minimum amount they can. They take as much as they can. So, this utopia will never work. And yet you look at YouTube, and there are, you know, hundreds of thousands of videos of college-age SJWs, you know, promoting Marxist views. Yeah, but there isn't. Now, I'm not political, but the Trump administration did make a lot of money available for startups. I wish I had it way back when. In 1996, I wrote a paper called The Internet Recording Studio. I worked it out. I worked out the hardware, the software, everything about how to connect a recording studio to the internet so you could be in Boston and record a performance from somebody in Tokyo. Everybody's doing that now. But I came up with that in 1996, and the mayor of my town had a special business district he called the Cyber District, because we happen to have an internet access company located on the backbone of the internet in an area of the downtown city of Lynn, Massachusetts, that was once a thriving area that was put out of business by Walmart. And Mayor McManus was very forward-thinking, and he offered people a free space. Funny, my friend Wayne Terminello, who runs Fleetwood Multimedia, he told me he bought a brick building, 4 stories, quite large, with a freight elevator for $40,000. It's crazy. So Wayne was going to give us the top floor of his building for our studio. Couldn't get the financing. I wrote a letter to the mayor with my proposal. His assistant contacted me and arranged for a meeting with me and Danny, my business partner, who, by the way, is the same Danny that's the boss of the Bootsy barbecue sauce company today. And I'm going to say something, but the thing is, you know, I started to explain it, and the mayor's assistant said, no, wait, no, we're sold. How can we help you? I said, well, I'm an engineer. I give me the money. I'm not a money guy. I get the money. Okay, call my friends at the Better Business Bureau, and we did. We pitched them. They couldn't, so we can't help you. Now, I'm going to say it. Danny Brown is a black man. The mayor's assistant is a black man. I later told the mayor's assistant, if 2 black guys and a white guy together who form a business can't get financing, something is really, really wrong. And that's when it really hit me that, you know, talent and success are not related, and you can work hard, but, you know, people always tell their kids, you can be anything you want. No, you can't. You can do anything you want. No, you can't. Work hard to be successful. Maybe. What you have to do is put as much of it under your own control. Somehow, if Danny and I had earned money in some other field and applied it to that, we would have had the first internet connected recording studio. And we would have had patents on, you know, on the technology to do that. But now, as I was trying to say earlier, my studio's open. Who you are? My studio's now open for business. So, if you want me to mix your record, I can do it. So yeah. Right. Betty, you know how people always say, that's who you know, right? I wrote a book, which I never published because the game changed so quickly. But it was called How to Make a Record. It was basically an expose on the recording industry. And I made a chapter called, I wrote a chapter called It's Who You Know. And I pointed out that this has nothing to do with who you know. It's who knows you. So you have to make sure that you're known by the people that can make decisions. And usually what I do, and I know it may sound impolite or something, but if I'm talking to somebody and, you know, I'll ask them, are you a decision maker? And if they're not a decision maker, I don't want to talk to them, because what's the point? You need to talk to decision makers, you know, in the company that can make decisions. To say, yeah, okay, we can do this, or I can give you the money for that. So, yeah. But anyway, I'm not bitter, I'm just stating the facts. So, I got my own studio now. And yeah, if everybody wants me to mix, I have 32 channels of analog and 32 channels of digital mixing. With full automation. I'm starting to pick up a couple of small jobs from some individuals who want to hear what their recordings sound like mixed by somebody with more experience, which is what you want. Now we're almost done. We've got 6 deep fried spring rolls, and we're almost got 5. Almost got 5. Eating slow though, as I'm talking. I got to figure out what's going on with Periscope, and why Periscope did not accept my my ingest stream from restream.io. I got to figure that out, because I was able to change the title on Periscope, but it absolutely is not streaming to Periscope. Bizarre. Anyway, too many rules. You know how YouTube now, you can't live stream unless you got 1,000 followers? How are you supposed to build a channel? See, this is a fundamental misunderstanding of how live streaming works. So what do? I build a channel using, you know, edited videos. And these days everybody, you know, jump cuts everything. And so I make an edited video and a schedule 1 or 2 times a week. I get 1,000 followers. And then I can go live, and then I can completely change the nature of my channel and pretty much alienate everybody who watches my channel because it's edited content and not live? I mean, does that make sense? Do they really think it's going to work? I don't know why this is so difficult to understand. Yes, it is. It's totally stupid. Because how are you supposed to build a channel for live streaming unless you can live stream? I mean, the only thing you could do is do a live stream type video. You might go around do investigative recording and stuff, but you'll have no comments. I mean, no interactive comments on the stream. And that's what this is about. So I might be wrong, but I believe that there's a fundamental difference between the audience for pre-recorded content and live content. However, unlike some live streamers with whom I've talked, I believe that the people who prefer the live streaming content will also watch the replay of live streaming content. That's okay. But, you know, if I were suddenly to change late night to like I don't know, an interview show or something where I had people on, you know, interviewing them, and you couldn't watch it live and you couldn't type anything, what fun would that be? It would really destroy the concept of Taiwan Live, wouldn't it? Wouldn't be live anymore. Now, I'm famous for writing very compelling letters. The most famous example of that is that yours truly got the way Morse code tests for amateur radio licenses were conducted in the United States back when you had to have Morse code to get an amateur radio license. One letter did it. I'm sure I could write a letter to Google that would make a very strong argument for lifting that restriction. But I don't want to draw attention to me. Yep. No, I hear you. Now, it's not to say that I don't watch pre-recorded videos, because I do. One of my favorite channels is Ancient Architects. And Matt, he does all this fantastic research, you know, from sites around the world. He couldn't do that live. I mean, I suppose he could present it, put himself down in a corner or something in a cameo, but no need for that. But there's no way that, for example, Ancient Architects could build an audience of over 1,000 people and then switch to live streaming. It just wouldn't work. Yeah, just other guys like Brian Forster who do ancient technology type content, and a lot of his content is field work. He's walking around like on the Giza Plateau, showing you things like you know, the shafts and stuff that go in. Which my theory is that those are Joseph's granaries, and he'll show, you know, of course, the pyramids. It talks about the Sphinx a lot. That could transition into a live streaming broadcast because his recorded format is along those lines. But anyway, but then there's other people like Linda Moulton Howe, very, very, very well known. So she gets like 1,000 followers in the first 30 seconds. You know, so she does live streams, which are basically kind of like Art Bell's Coast to Coast, you know, in front of a camera. She was a frequent guest on that show, actually. So, anyway, I am more than happy to be on YouTube. It's just, I have to game the system. Addis Ababa. Where is that? Let's have it with us. I'm sorry that the first thing that you said didn't come through because of the Ethiopia. Okay, cool. All right. I met a gentleman in my neighborhood from Ethiopia. He's doing some engineering here. And quite a number of Ethiopians in Taiwan. They're really trying to gain higher education. And this is a place, you know, if you come to Taiwan, Taiwan will pay you. If you have a bachelor's degree, Taiwan will pay you to get a master's, and they'll pay you to get a PhD. It's amazing. Never seen anything like it. Taiwan has more PhDs per capita than any other place in the world. Your chances of walking down the street in Taipei, Kaohsiung, Taichung, the major cities, running into a PhD are extremely high. A lot of technology here, so. My friend Shaman, who used to live in this neighborhood years ago, way before we were doing mobile phone live streaming, came here to get a PhD in nanotechnology, and he did, and he went back to Kolkata. But yeah, so welcome to Taiwan from Ethiopia. Bye-bye. And if you can, you might want to come here and further your studies. It's actually good. It's a good place for it. Lots of people leaving here, so. Rob, how are you? At the famous Win-Wins. I think I might be able to get Win-Win to join me in a minute. Would you guys like that? Hang on, she's well, you don't have to be a good public speaker. You can just be a published author. It's Win-Win standing by the road there. When I was in high school in North Carolina, my best friend John Beeler, his father was a professor of history at UNCG, and he exposed me to a lot of really cool things. Imagine this. I'm 17 years old, and I'm in the professor's study, and he opens a drawer, and he takes out a Roman coin. Good. Older than 2,000 years. And he put it in my hand. And even at 17, I realized like how cool that was. I'm like, whoa, is it okay if I touch it? Yeah, it's okay. And I'm like, wow. You can see it was hand minted, you know, and it's like crazy. And so his son, John, himself is a professor of history at the University of Alabama at Tuscaloosa, so he became a PhD. Now his mom's a PhD. He has a brother. He's a PhD. He has a sister. She's a PhD. So everybody in his whole family is PhDs. He married a PhD. So it's like, wow.
Hey, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
你呢？
因为讲英文吗？
哦，一点点，我跟到晚上了。
OK，我问你啊，
哎，
我 我刚刚问你，我好，你好。
嗯，
嗯
我知道啊。
，OK，好啊。
How are you 是早安啊，对啊，现在晚上啊。
Okay. Anyway. I'm kind of a pet here. People come up to you and they'll say some kind of phrase in English. So you heard what I said. If I asked him, do you speak English? He said a little bit. She said, well, what I asked you was, yeah, I'm fine, how are you? And he goes, yeah, I know, but he couldn't answer. When I was in the States, I would never in a million years go up to an Asian person and start talking Chinese, Japanese, or Korean unless I knew for a fact that that's where they were from or knew it. My friend Toby Obenshaw, he's a filmmaker from South Africa here in Taiwan, told me a story. He went to the States and he was in the elevator with an Asian couple. And he addressed the woman in Chinese. And he says she exploded on him. How dare you talk Chinese to me? You don't know if I'm Korean or Japanese or anything else. You're just stereotyping me by speaking Chinese. How dare you? And he says, I heard you guys talking in the hall, and I could tell the Taiwanese accent when I hear one because I live in Taiwan. And she kind of went, oh, so. Rob, we had spring rolls, we had flying fish roe, and I'm just finishing up my Thai basil with rice. Now, Win-Win is calling customers, so she's standing over here, and all right. Ni hao mama. Matthew, good to see you. I asked her she's busy. She said just a little. Come over in a minute. I hear you. I hear you. Konnichiwa. Well, I'll tell you what I do. That's funny. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to make a point. Because, you know, I love Taiwan. I love Taiwanese people. You guys know that. So I'll tell you two things. I went to a drugstore the other day, and I bought 2 bottles of bottled water. And I brought them up to the counter. And I just had this feeling, and it's based on doing business in Taiwan since 2002 and living here since 2004. I had this feeling that he had the foreigner fear. So instead of talking to me, he uses a calculator and he shows me the price for 2 bottles. And he very sheepishly and very softly said, "Toto." And so, for those of you who understand Chinese, I said, "Oh, 你不可以说话." In other words, you're not able to speak, which explained why he didn't just tell me, you know. And so he kind of giggled a little bit, but he got the point. I can't tell you how many times I have to tell people, speak. I'll go up there like, 讲话. And then like, oh, okay, so, which people don't do that in the States. I tell Taiwanese people, I said, listen, if you speak to me in Chinese and I don't understand, it's not your problem, it's my problem. And they're like, oh, 对啊. So anyway. So, one of the things that I do is that the assumption of English is automatic, but the reality is different, because sometimes I go up to foreigners, obvious foreigners, and I'll say, "You guys speak English?" And I'll hear them say things like "a little." I met some guys from Germany, and their English wasn't very good. I tried to help them, but so whenever I bring Americans here to some place in my neighborhood, it just reinforces the stereotype that all foreigners are the same. And the fact that like when back in January of 2018, when John from LA and Casper and Yuka and JL and I mean, they all came here, right? And we're all speaking English, so it really does set it in. But what I do is sometimes I'll answer in Russian, or I'll answer in Korean. And look at me funny, and I'll say to them, well, you spoke to me in a foreign language, so I'm speaking to you in a foreign language. And what I mean by a foreign language is not Chinese. Very few people, but some, very few people go, they get the point. So, I have, just to see what would happen, I have told people in Taiwan that I don't speak English, and they've never accepted that. They have always said, that's impossible. Why? Because you're white. You look American. Sometimes the kids in my neighborhood will see me. They go, hey, there's an American. And I'll ask them, hey, he trained in, Mom, you sure? Yeah, you sure? Why? Does it say America on my shirt? Does I have my passport pinned to my shirt? So, yeah, stereotyping is alive and well. That's why there are no social justice warriors in Taiwan, because they would cry. They would cry themselves to sleep every night, because they wouldn't be able to make any inroads here with any of that ridiculous stuff that they have here. And there are a lot of gay people here. There's a lot of gay couples, mostly females, walking down the street, and you can tell which one is the woman, you can tell which one is the man, but they're not hung up on gender pronouns. They're not hung up on anything. The people here are just so completely cool, and nobody cares. Every place is a safe space for everybody, pretty much. And so, yeah, it's just, you don't have the SJW thing going on here. Nobody ever came up to me in Taiwan and said, oh, you've got foreigner privilege. Which is funny, because foreigner privilege does exist. It does. Depending on the situation, I can go to a place and they'll call me out of line to serve me first. I don't know why. And unless it's like a government official, I always refuse. No, I say, no, I'm in the line. My wife and I went to get Phoenix's passport after she was born. And I'm standing in line with my wife, who's Taiwanese. And it was a long line. And the clerk saw me. This means come here. Okay, we say that this come here in the Western world. In the Eastern world, this means come here. He's going like this to me, right? I'm like, okay, so I walked over. And there's like 15 people ahead of me. And he's like, what do you want? So talk to my wife. And then he turned to my wife, he realized that I wasn't in the line by myself. And he probably shouldn't have done that. So my wife said, well, I'm getting my daughter's passport. And so at that point, he was compelled to just do it. But I thought that was just really like not very cool. But that's something that I never consciously take advantage of. But there it is. And you never hear about foreigner privilege in the U.S. You only hear about white privilege. So there you go. All right, now I hate politics. I'm not going to talk about politics. But I do have to go. It's getting late, at least for me. I'm trying to get to sleep earlier, so I want to thank everyone for joining. I got to go back and check my restream.io logs and see what went wrong with Periscope. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I have to reset the API key. But you guys take care. Thanks so much for joining, and we're going to see you later in the week. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't mean to do that. We'll see you later in the week. And bye-bye. See you. We'll see you later in the week, and hopefully we'll have something interesting to talk about. We'll catch you next time. And for those of you who just joined, I have a previous broadcast on YouTube that I had to quit because I noticed it wasn't broadcasting on Periscope, and it didn't help. So I talked about some of the other claw machine areas that we have here. So I want to check that out. Thanks so much for joining. You guys take care, and we'll see you. It's Ai Chen from Taiwan. Bye-bye.